The Young and the Restless spoilers for Saturday's the 10th of October 2020 update reveal Victor making a move Victoria's way, Elena agonizing over a decision, and Lily learning something new. On Thursday, Nikki urged Victoria to apologize to Victor for isolating him from the company and acting like he doesn't know everything. Victoria shot back that Adam has done plenty of worse things and Victor forgave him without conditions. Victoria isn't going to go groveling to Daddy. It looks like Victor just might decide to be the bigger man and apologize to his daughter about jerking her around regarding the CEO position while kowtowing to Adam. The question is, how long will it last before Victor explains how, yes, he's sorry. But, really, this is all Victoria's fault. Elena slept with Nate. Now she wonders how, and if, to tell Devon. On the one hand, what Devon doesn't know won't hurt him. On the other hand, Elena is a terrible liar. Devon knows something is wrong. So either she makes up another lie to cover up the first lie, or she just comes clean. It sounds like the latter would be easier for her than the former. She's not really a think on her feet kind of girl. Lily is trying to tolerate Billy's obsession. She told him they can continue their series on Adam, but they have to have other stories, as well. Billy isn't interested in anything but bringing down his former in-laws. So Lily takes matters into her own hands. But what if what she finds out helps Billy's cause? Will she go her own way or buckle under? The Young and the Restless year airs weekdays on CBS. In the park, Victor said he knew why Nikki had brought him there. It was to distract him. He told Nikki that Billy was the problem, not Adam. Nikki said that Billy wasn't the cause. Victor claimed that Billy had turned Victoria against him. Nikki reminded him that he'd treated Victoria badly when he'd allowed Adam to take over as CEO. Victor claimed that Victoria hadn't apologized to him for the hit job about Adam. He told Nikki that he'd warned Victoria that if she did damage to his company, he would have her removed. Nikki told Victor that Adam was the problem, and Victor needed to convince Adam to leave town. Victor asked if she would ask him to do the same thing if it had been Nick or Victoria. She said if they'd caused that much trouble, she might. Very angry, Victor walked away. Nikki sent a text message to someone. Lily arrived at Billy's suite. Billy told her things weren't right. He showed her a video of Adam searching his room. He pointed to the camera he'd installed in the ceiling. He said that Adam hadn't found anything, but if Adam had been looking for the information, Adam was about to get some. At the penthouse, while Chelsea was on the sofa with an ice pack on her head, she told Adam how she'd tried to get out of the elevator at Chancecom through a panel in the ceiling and had fallen. She said she'd been there because she'd been trying to protect her family. Adam told her she needed to stay out of it because he was handling the situation. Chelsea said she thought they were a team, and she asked why he kept pushing her away. Adam said the article had been about him, and it was up to him to fix it. He wished she hadn't been at Chancecom the previous evening. Chelsea realized that Adam had been responsible for the power outage. Adam said he'd wanted to keep Billy busy so he could search Billy's room, because Billy planned to put out more trash about him. He said he'd wanted to find the documents, but he hadn't found anything. He said he had to do it alone, and he hated that Chelsea had gotten hurt. Chelsea didn't like him keeping things from her, and she accused him of sounding like Victor. She said Adam was trying to push her away during a crisis, but Adam stated that Billy had caused the crisis. Adam left. At the Grand Phoenix, Nick left Summer another message to call him or Phyllis. He told Phyllis he couldn't believe that Summer and Kyle had eloped. Phyllis received a call from her accountant. She walked away for a private chat. Phyllis told her accountant she was worried about the tax man showing up in her hotel. She told him to fix it. After Phyllis had completed her call, Nick asked if she was okay, and she said she was. He called her a liar because he felt there was a bigger problem, and he would hate to see her jeopardize her hotel if she needed help. She said she needed to formulate a genius idea and told him not to worry. Nick received a text message from Nikki asking him to meet her. Phyllis told Nick to go and help Nikki. Nick met Nikki in the park. She was worried about what Victor would do next, and she wanted Nick to talk to him. She said that getting Adam out of town would solve so many problems. She told Nick that Victor felt guilty about Adam's upbringing, and he would always try to make things right for Adam. Nick said that Victor never listened to him, but it was time to take matters into his own hands. Phyllis' accountant told her that her loan had been bought by a company called Ponce Vecchio. Phyllis hit the roof when she recognized the name. Nick returned at that moment and told her that Nikki wanted him to help her with the Adam situation. He stopped and said that Phyllis looked shaken. She said she had to put out another fire with a beverage supplier, and she left. Chance was in bed in his suite. While Abby was in the bathroom, he told her he felt lonely. He also wondered why it had taken him so long to figure out he'd been falling in love with her. Abby entered the room and dropped her robe. After the loving, Chance said he'd been very lucky to have met her. It had to have been destiny. He was happy Abby was playing hooky, but Abby said being a Newman and an Abbott, she felt guilty if she wasn't working by noon. At Newman, Victoria finished her call with Katie as Nikki entered. Victoria told Nikki that Phyllis had been doing an in-run with the high-level partners in an attempt to lure them to the Grand Phoenix, but Newman already had a deal with the athletic club. She said Phyllis didn't care about damaging the Newman partnership as long as she was able to book rooms at her hotel. Victoria said she needed to take action. Nikki asked if Victoria was going to do battle with Phyllis out of frustration with Victor, Adam, and Billy. Victoria stated that she was protecting the company and that Phyllis was another Adam waiting to happen. She asked if Nikki recalled how Phyllis had kept pushing Abby in an attempt to take over the Grand Phoenix. In order to do that, Phyllis had needed to take out different lines of credit. She had then consolidated those loans with an investment bank. Victoria said that Phyllis was stretched very thin and was about to lose her financing. Annoyed, Nikki told Victoria that she didn't care about Phyllis. She wanted to see Victoria repair her relationship with Victor. Victoria said the situation had nothing to do with Victor, it was business, and Victor needed to fix things between them. Victoria said that she'd spoken to Victor, and she'd admitted she'd been wrong to have Billy publish the exposé. However, Adam had done so much worse, and Victor had always forgiven him. She refused to reach out to Victor and ask for forgiveness. Nikki told Victoria there was a wrinkle because Nick and Phyllis had reunited. If Victoria went after Phyllis, Nick would be hurt. Victoria said she wasn't going after Phyllis, she was going after an asset. Victoria dismissed Nikki and said she would let Nikki know how things progressed. Sometime later, Phyllis stormed into Victoria's office, yelling, "Ponce Vecchio." She said she'd recognized the name because she'd been to Florence, Italy. She accused Victoria of creating a holding company for the sole purpose of buying Phyllis' loan from the bank. Victoria smiled and said Newman owned 75% of the Grand Phoenix. It had been a great business opportunity, and Phyllis had left herself exposed. Phyllis claimed that Victoria was trying to punish her. Victoria asked if Phyllis had admitted that she'd tried to go behind her back in an attempt to lure Newman clients to her hotel. Phyllis warned Victoria about blaming it on her. Phyllis claimed that Victoria still held a grudge because Phyllis had pulled all that JT stuff. Victoria said Phyllis should have considered that before she crossed Victoria. Phyllis yelled that Victoria didn't want the hotel. Phyllis said the hotel belonged to her. Phyllis couldn't wait until Nick heard about it. Victoria said she would cross that bridge when she got there. Phyllis warned Victoria that she was on shaky ground with Nick because of the article. Victoria said she knew that Nick would be ticked for a while, but it was only a matter of time before Phyllis and Nick would break up again. Victoria said he would appreciate the savvy deal she'd made after the breakup. In the meantime, Victoria wanted to know Phyllis' price for her 25% of the hotel. Phyllis spat that there was no way in hell she would sell it. It was her hotel, and the situation wasn't over. Phyllis stormed out. Billy walked into society and tossed his key card onto the bar next to Adam. He said the next time Adam wanted to break into his room, he should use the key card. Adam claimed he had no idea what Billy was accusing him of doing. Billy said Adam had worn a baseball cap and rummaged through Billy's room, but there had been nothing to find. Billy said it was a joyous moment when Adam had shown him how scared he was, wondering what information Billy had. Adam told Billy that Chelsea was fine. He said that Billy had walked into the restaurant, full of accusations, and he'd never asked about Chelsea. Billy said that while Adam had been breaking into Billy's room, Billy had stayed with Chelsea until the ambulance had arrived. Billy said that if Adam and Chelsea had discussed his plan beforehand, Chelsea would have taken the stairs. Adam claimed that Billy had exposed his hand, and he had nothing. Billy said Adam's statement came from a man who'd been caught red-handed. Adam accused Billy of bluffing. He wouldn't sit by and watch Billy spread lies about him. Billy said the article hadn't printed lies. All he'd done had been to pull the bandage off a festering sore, and he'd forced Adam to look at his life. Adam claimed Billy would regret it if he went after Adam again. Billy said that Adam had given him a plethora of information for his next article. He thanked Adam and left. Chance and Abby arrived at Chancellor Park. She stated that they were between the Newman and Abbott buildings, and she'd always felt she'd been pulled in both directions. She felt that had been the reason for her failed relationships with Daniel, Tyler, Stitch, Nate, and Arturo. She told Chance that fate had drawn her and Chance together. She asked Chance if it had been difficult for him growing up as a chancellor. He said he'd known about the money, but he'd had no idea how it had affected his relationships. It was possible that he had subconsciously used being a chancellor to avoid relationships, until Abby. Chance and Abby visited with the animals at the park. Chance groaned that they'd spent too much time with the swans and not enough with the tigers. Abby explained that her interest in the swans was that swans mated for life. He asked Abby if they should give it a try. Abby said the night Chance had told her he'd been falling in love with her, she hadn't responded, not because she hadn't been falling in love with him, but because she'd already been there. Chance admitted he loved her. Nick arrived at the penthouse, and, after he saw the ice pack and pills, he asked if Chelsea was okay. He asked if she'd heard from Connor. She informed Nick that she heard from Connor twice a day. She admitted it had been tough putting Connor into boarding school. Nick stated that if Connor hadn't needed protecting, they wouldn't have sent him to boarding school. Chelsea said she wouldn't have if Billy hadn't published that article. Nick said that article was about all the horrible things Adam had done. Chelsea claimed the information had been exaggerated and out of context, but Nick stated it had been straight up reporting about everything Adam had done.